In this episode of Carnage, we're going to see if we can get this Torana running. Hey guys, and welcome back to Carnage. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Now, we bought this Torana quite a while back during the COVID, and yeah, we paid a bit for it, but it is a two-door Torana, so it's always going to be worth money. But we never knew if it ran. So it's got a little 1300cc four-cylinder in it. It's got a 4-speed gearbox in there, and it has nothing else. Basically, no dash, no steering column, no interior. It's just engine, box. It doesn't even have a wiring loom in the car. So we have never fired this engine up. But that's what my mission is today. I want to see if this engine actually runs, and if it does run, is it worth leaving that engine in the car, or is it worth pulling that engine out and sticking it in this car? So I'm going to hook up the bare necessities in terms of wiring and see if we can get it to start. That is my mission. Right, well, I've already transferred some parts over to that car, and then yesterday afternoon I've grabbed them parts back, so I'm going to have to swap a starter motor back into this car and a dizzy cap and a few other things. But yeah, let's make it run. For those of you from overseas who are not familiar with Holden Toranas, well, Holden was GM's Australian division, basically, General Motors Holden, and the Torana was their compact line. So they stem back to 68, I think, were the first ones. But this is a 74 model, a TA Torana. It is based off the LJ Torana, which was a 6-cylinder car with a slightly longer nose. This is the TA, which is a 4-cylinder version and slightly stubbier in the nose. And it has this tiny little 1300cc engine making something just over 50 horsepower. So yeah, it's a beast. But does it run? That is the big question. So let's make it run. To kick things off, I'm going to have to put the starter motor back in this car because I pinched it for the other car. So starter motor goes back in, and dizzy cap and all those sort of things. So let's go grab that. So here is the starter motor. It is a weird bit of gear. It doesn't have a solenoid off the side or anything like that. It just uses a guard mounted relay to power it up and just pull it back. And this part actually pokes through the back of the bell housing, which is really weird because it's exposed to the elements. So anyway, we'll slide her in here and bolt it in. So just notice there's actually a little rubber boot back here on the back of the bell housing. It's missing off the other car. So it's not fully exposed, but it's a weird arrangement. Okay. You go that way or the other way? Starter in. To activate the starter, we need this starter relay, which mounts to the inner guard just here. So we might as well attach that. Right, so we've got a starter relay attached, positive lead, we've got a negative lead, and we've got an activation wire. I've just got a bare end and a terminal there. This is all very Carnage. So I need a battery. Let's grab a battery and give that a try. Okay, so we've got a battery here that I had on charge overnight. Positive, negative, yep, cool, it's the right way. Battery cradle is not big enough. All right, so positive, negative. All right, let's do a quick check, make sure it is in neutral. Yep, so that's gear, that's neutral. Cool, we're in neutral. All right, activation wire. Let's see if it does anything. Engine turns over. That's a good start. All right, disconnect that for the moment and we'll hook up the Dizzy and grab a coil and then yeah, see how we go with that. Right, move this off to the side. Oh. Now it's time for our distributor cap. It's only a little baby one for a 4-cylinder, of course. Let's see which way this is orientated by the tab. Okay, so it looks like it went that way. Let's make sure. Yep. Okay. You clip onto there. You clip onto there. We've got a rotor button. Suppose I should find out what the firing order of this thing is. Don't actually know. Can't be too hard. It's only got 4 cylinders. I should look that up.
A few moments later.
Well, isn't it great living in the information age? I looked it up on the old Googles and found out the firing order is 1342. Now, I think I saw the rotor button go that way, but I should check that before I go wiring things up here. So let's have a quick squeeze, but yeah, I think the rotor button went that way, anti-clockwise. Let's grab the battery again. Okay, put that on there. Let's have a look. Anti-clockwise it is. So we've confirmed it is anti-clockwise. Now I need to work out where top dead center is. Let's see if it has a mark on the, oh yeah, that's interesting. Right there, by the looks of it. So it doesn't have a balancer as such. It's got more of a pulley with a little tab on it. And yeah, that looks like it's top dead center, but of which stroke? So what do we need to make the engine run? We need fuel, air, spark, and compression. All right, air's easy, gets drawn into the cylinder. Fuel will get drawn in through the carburetor. We'll sort that out shortly. Spark, we're trying to get that sorted right now. Compression, we need the compression stroke to fire the engine. So I need to pull number 1 spark plug and see if I'm on the compression stroke of top dead center. I suspect I am. The Dizzy's sort of pointing towards the front, and usually you would have number 1 towards the front. But let's double check that. Now there's a couple of ways we can measure the compression stroke. We can stick a thumb over the cylinder, although it's kind of deep in there and it's hard to get my thumb on, so I'm going to use a compression test gauge. So we'll just wind her in there. And then wind it over by hand. Now, you know, you could try using the starter motor, but invariably you're going to end up with compression in the cylinder and a confusing result. So we'll wind it over by hand. And and see what that gets us. Okay, let's wind her over. We're starting to see something. It wasn't a lot though. Let's go around again. I mean, maybe this engine doesn't have a lot of compression. Yep, movement. So it is pretty much where I said it was going to be. So rotor button pointing forward. So we'll put our dizzy cap on and line that up. All right, let's remove that. Okay, so rotor button is pointing at cylinder number 1. So it means the dizzy cap goes on. The register says that goes there. So that is number 1. Okay, locks down. Okay, click, click. All right, so that is number 1. 1, and then that's 3. Rotating anti-clockwise. So 1, 3. 3, 4. Click. And that makes this one number 2. Okay. 1, 3, 4, 2. Distributor is on. Now we need a coil. And now for the next part, which is ignition coil. So we just got a basic GT40 style replacement ignition coil from Rare Spares, non-resistor. So we connect our negative pole to the distributor and we put power to the positive side. So we're just going to go direct to the battery for power. We may put a switch in there. I'll think about that. But yeah, negative side of the equation goes to the distributor. So let's attach this somewhere. All right, so we've had to put the bracket at the bottom of the coil so it doesn't hit against anything down here, but bolt on the side of the block. Something like that. And then that wire will go onto there if we can make it fit. Maybe if we go that way. Alright, negative. I've already checked the oil, so I know it's got oil in it. Okay. There we go. Positive to that side, and we'll be good to go. So, we have fitted our ignition coil, we've run the negative to the distributor, the positive, we've run across to the battery, and we've got a little switch there, just a temporary thing, just so we can turn the power off to the coil if we need to, you know. Don't want to have like the coil dead short or something and then set the wire on fire. So, we should be pretty right to go, I think. So what do we got? The engine turns over, the dizzy looks like to be in the right spot, dizzy cap's on, leads are on, the coil is there, we've got it wired up, we've got 12 volts going to the coil, I've already checked that with a multimeter. So, I'm going to spray it with some Starcher Bastard. I've also plumbed a fuel line over here to this little fuel drum, if you see down the side there. So I've got a fuel line running there. So let's squirt some of this in it and see if it does anything. Starcher Bastard. Spray some of this down in here. All right. Coil on. Alrighty. Oh, it did something. It kicked. Okay. It wants to go. I think it needs some actual petrol. Let's try that. Here's some petrol from last time. All right. Let's see what that does. Give it a bit of that as well. And ignition is still on. Yeah, baby, it's gonna start. All right, I guess now we need to make sure that the fuel is priming up. I don't think it has. Yeah, I need some more fuel up in there. She's gonna run. Whoa, that's a lot of fuel. Okay. Let's hope I keep all my eyebrows. Okay, right, so I've moved the can up there. I've kind of gravity fed it into the pump. Hopefully the pump works. I've got no way of really telling at the moment. Got a fire extinguisher on hand here just in case. I hope I won't need it. Do not need that. All right, switch on. Okay. She runs. Look at that. So how's that? We've got a running engine. Is it any good? Don't know. Don't know. I guess we need to probably do a proper compression test on it to see what sort of compression it has got. I'm guessing it's a low compression 1300, which if that's the case, it's probably not going to have a lot of compression anyway. I think that one's maybe the high compression 1300 in that one. So we'll have to comp test that one as well. And maybe we should get that one started as well. But it goes to show that if you look at your basics, fuel, air, spark, compression, this engine had nothing attached to it. Like, it had no wiring. It had nothing on it. We'd never run it. Well, now we know it runs. That's pretty amazing. So, we know it runs. Now we've got to work out if it's worth using this engine or whether we use that engine. But yeah, we have at least one working engine. It's a good start. Where do we go from here? Well, we need to transfer all the good stuff out of that car into this car, like interior stuff, steering wheel, seats, all that sort of stuff. And let's turn this into a running and driving car. That's the plan. Turn this into a running and driving car. Now what happens to it after that is, well, it's a matter of much discussion amongst us staffers at the moment. I've told you what I wanted to do, which is, you know, alloy V8, 6-speed, turn it into a bit of a fun track car, something we can have some fun with around a track, hill climbs, that sort of thing. Nothing too serious, but just something a bit fun. Others want to make it a pro streeter, or at least a pro street sort of, you know, type of car. Maybe, you know, a call back to that 80s pro street sort of era. Others want to see some other stuff in there, you know, old school small block Chevy or something like that. And I know amongst you viewers, you know, you've mentioned everything from 4-cylinder diesels and rotaries through to the Hemi V8, which we always, that was a bit of a joke. I mean, technically we could make it fit, but the amount of chassis work required to get that engine into this car, I don't think that's going to be a viable exercise. So, we've got ourselves a running Torana. Let's make it run better. Let's make it more complete. Let's get it on the street. And you're going to see all that in future episodes of Carnage.